Happy Saturday, everyone. It's Joe, and it's time for Puck It with Joe. I hope you caught my earlier video because we have been cashing us so far on the day. We were able to get the Calgary Flames and the Philadelphia Flyers under 5.5. It was like plus 106 there. And I tell you, absolute sweat on that one. The first period kicked off exactly how I expected. We didn't get any goals in that first period. That second period, though, I tell you, was something else. Jacob Markstrom absolutely stood on his head. He did allow 2 goals, but on 24 shots on goal. I don't know what happened to Calgary defensively. In the first and the third period, they did lock down defensively. I believe the Flyers were held to 9 goals in both of those. So Flyers ultimately got the win. But we did stay under the 5.5, and that's what mattered for our betting reasons. Looking at the other game going on right now, the Florida Panthers and the Colorado Avs, if I can talk today. We got off to that nice hot start with the Florida Panthers. So if you took reverse puck line like I recommended in the video this morning, you are getting plus 195 to plus 225, plus 1 or plus 250 on some books. It was crazy, that reverse puck line for the Florida Panthers in the first period. So we'll see if they're able to hold up for the full game here. I'm just going to look at the current score in that one. Now, we did see the Avs come back in it. So it is a 4-3 game right now for the Florida Panthers in the second period. If you're riding the over in that one, you're feeling nice and comfortable as you've already cashed that one over the 6.5. Looking at live numbers here, total of 10.5 for this game. It just dropped to 9.5, minus 156 to the over 9.5. You can't go there. It's way too highly juiced. 10.5 was plus 124 while they had it up there for a second. I do think that we continue to see the goals come in this one. Like I talked about, the Colorado Avalanche just don't have the depth right now. Their defense has been struggling, and I don't trust the goaltending. So I do think Florida will continue to score in this one. Now, can we count on Colorado to give us one of those goals? That's the biggest question mark in this. I do think the Florida Panthers, if you're not already invested in this game, looking at them on that puck line, laying 1.5 goals at plus 114 would be the only way I would take this game at the moment. But you guys, we've got a ton of games to go over. Let's make some freaking money is right. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here every day. That's for sure. We're going to look at the Edmonton Oilers and the Ottawa Senators. The 1.5 is juicy. The both teams to score. Definitely a better way to go. I am so glad that you love betting hockey. Okay, let's look at the first game that I've prepared here. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the San Jose Sharks. Now, looking over at odds on FanDuel, you guys, as I just pull this up, the Leafs coming in at minus 285. They were around minus 300 earlier in the day. We've got plus 230 here for the San Jose Sharks, total of 6.5. Now, this 6.5 plus money to the over at plus 108, minus 132 to the under. My problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs is they play down to their competition. I am looking at this one to go over the number of 6.5. We're getting that at plus 108. Toronto themselves should be able to put a ton of goals up on the San Jose Sharks. It just depends what we're going to get out of this team against the Sharks, because we know how they come into some of these games. They really stand up for the big games, and for games like this, I can't trust them. So I do think the Sharks will get some goals. You can look at the Sharks team total themselves over 2.5, and I did put a little bit of money on this at plus 122. My main bet being on the over for the full game, over 6.5, because I think no matter what happens in this one, we do see a higher scoring game. I know the Sharks have been struggling to score, but I do think this is just one of those games where they get a couple here. In their last game versus the Jets, they covered that puck line. So if you want to look at them on the puck line in this matchup, they are 9-10 on the puck line at home this season. That puck line number coming in for them, plus 1.5 at minus 105. Now, I worry about the empty netter because I do think this could be the style of game where we see Toronto get those empty netters on the Sharks if they pull their goalie, trying to get this game within a couple of goals, because I think this is probably a 4-2 game when we see that goalie pulled. I do think, though, the Sharks should be able to hit 3 goals. So it's going to be a hard one for sure in this one. It's not a great game, you guys. If you don't want to bet it, I don't blame you. This is not one that I'm rushing to the window with. I have got the over 6.5 and the Sharks. Team total over 2.5 because I do expect those three. Let's look at the next one here. This should be a better game. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Boston Bruins. Current odds on FanDuel give you plus 132 on the Lightning on the road, minus 160 for the Boston Bruins, total of a 6.5. Now that 6.5 juice to the under at minus 130 to the under and plus 106 to the over. I'm looking for a strong defensive goaltending matchup between these two. These two teams do trend to that under, going 7-3 to the 3-7 to the over and under. The last couple of games, though, have gone over the total. I'm just not seeing it happening in this one. This is the Battle of the Atlantic, and we have the Lightning rolling in here, sitting fourth in the Atlantic, and the Boston Bruins sitting first. I do expect Vasilevsky and Ullmark to really lock down in a net. Now, you look here at the Boston Bruins, and they just lost that game to the Pittsburgh Penguins. It was a 6-5 loss. You know this team's going to want to lock down defensively. They're allowing 2.65 goals per game on average, but the amount of shots that they're allowing, the amount of chances they're allowing on their goaltending, and while they've got strong goaltending, they really need to tighten up defensively because it's hitting at 32.5 shots on goal per game for their opponents. Now, their kill is phenomenally strong, sitting third best overall in the league at 85.5%. Looking at the Lightning, you guys know this is a team that I haven't been trusting defensively on the road. I'm expecting more out of them in this one. I expect a lot out of Vasilevsky, especially facing off against Ullmark here. He's got a 2.83 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.902. He is 8-5 in his last 13 games, and he's got a save percentage in that of 9.14. And only allowing those 33 goals in those last 13 games. So I do expect a really strong one out of him. This team is off that win over the Minnesota Wild. It was a 4-1 win. So I really liked what we saw out of the defense in that game. I'm hoping for the same sort of thing. Now, the last time these teams did match up back in November, it was that 5-4 win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we need the Boston Bruins to come out on a mission here in this one. I do think they can get the win, and I especially like them off that loss to get off to that hot start, hit Andrei Vasilevsky early. I expect them to cover the puck line in the first period. Covering the puck line, laying the half a goal in the first period is coming in at plus 144. Now, anytime goal scorer here for the Boston Bruins, I'm definitely looking at David Pastrnak. He's coming in for the anytime goal at minus 105. No plus money on him because he's absolutely a goal machine out there. And I do think we really need a solid performance out of Ullmark in this one. I was looking at some numbers, and Ullmark versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. The last game back in March of last year. Now it's last year, 2023. He allowed 1 goal on 27 shots on goal. The game prior to that in January, he allowed 3 goals on 35 shots. Game prior to that, the same thing, 3 goals in 35 shots. And the one prior back in 2022, 1 goal in 29 shots. So I really like looking at how these goalies do versus their opponents. And this is what it's going to come down to for me in this one. I was looking at some goalie props here. I still didn't get a number on Ullmark. I do think the Lightning fire at him, but I think he's able to save a heck of a lot of shots in this one and win it for the Boston Bruins. So give me Ullmark for a big day. I think it comes down to him, the weight of the world in this game. And I do think the Lightning still get those shots because the defense right now of the Boston Bruins really isn't giving him that support. Okay, the Minnesota Wild game to go under. We're going to look at that. We'll definitely look at that. Leafs has to be a lower scoring slump. Going to look at those two. Let's look at this Minnesota Wild game first. Okay, Minnesota Wild taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let me just find odds over at FanDuel here. The Minnesota Wild now minus 137 on the money line. The Columbus Blue Jackets at plus 114. Total 6.5. Lots of totals juiced to the under today. Minus 124 to the under here, plus 102 to the over. If you like the Wild for a big win, laying 1.5 is plus 180. No value on the puck line there for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You'd have to look at some sort of reverse puck line if you're looking to back them on it. The Columbus Blue Jackets did win the last matchup. It was in overtime. It was a 5-4 win back in October. Marc-Andre Fleury confirmed in net tonight for the Minnesota Wild, and Tarasov confirmed here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, the Columbus Blue Jackets are off that win. They got the shootout win versus the Flyers 3-2 in their last game on the road. I was actually really impressed with what we saw out of them in that one. And the Minnesota Wild roll in here, losing their last 4 games, the last one at home to the Tampa Bay Lightning in a 4-1 loss. The last 3 of their losses were at home. The other one was on the road. I think this is a fresh chance for them to get back out here on the road and be able to get the win. I just don't love the value we're getting on them in this game. They have won 7 of the last 10 meetings. Last 5 meetings, 4 have gone to overtime, with 1 going to a shootout. So these teams play in really tight games. I would avoid the Minnesota Wild on that puck line. I think the only way they cover the puck line is with an empty netter. And when I'm looking at those puck line odds, you guys, I don't like it if I think it's empty netter. I think the only way I take a puck line is if I think a team will dominate. And with the trends and how tight these two teams have played, like 4 of the last 5 going to OT is crazy. So I do think it's another tight battle out there on the ice. I would look at some shots on goal props in this one. I think the Minnesota Wild will get the shots. This team is averaging 30.1 shots on goal per game. And we see the Columbus Blue Jackets allowing 34.4 shots. So Tarasov will absolutely need to stand on his head. Could the Wild hit him and hit him hard to cover this puck line and get a huge win? They absolutely could. But I'm just looking at those shots on goal props. I think they're the better way to go. Now, Ryan Hartman here, he's been getting the points on the board. He's been getting the shots as well. 3+ shots on goals coming in at plus 104 for him. And then Matt Boldy here. I like Matt Boldy to go over 4 shots. So 4+. You can get him at, you're getting plus 102. I know it's a lot of shots in this one, but the Columbus Blue Jackets give up all of those chances. He's been able to get the points on the board, and I do think those shots will come for him tonight. Now, these two teams, another 2 teams that do trend to that under 2-7-1 for the over and under. I'm going to stay off that. I'm just going to bet the shots in this one. I do think with how the Wild team has been stepping up offensively, we could see them have a nice, strong day getting those shots. And that's all I really want to back here, you guys. Okay, let's look at the next game on deck here. If my mouse will work, I think it's time to change the batteries, you guys. Should probably do that. The New York Rangers are taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Now, the Rangers almost a $2 favorite at minus 192 here on the road, taking on the Montreal Canadiens at home. The Canadiens are plus 158. We have a total of 6.5. Again, juice to the under, minus 124 to the under, plus 102 to the over. This one, I understand the rationality behind the under here because you look at the goaltending matchup, and I absolutely love it. You guys know I've been high on Sam Montembeault ever since he got signed to the contract with the Montreal Canadiens. He's been playing phenomenal hockey. He's got a 2.94 goals against average, a save percentage of .903. Jonathan Quick, I tell you, where has this Jonathan Quick been? I didn't see this out of him last season. He is definitely one of the leading goaltenders in the league right now. And he's one that I stressed every time he hit the ice last year, not this year. Jonathan Quick has been so strong for the New York Rangers. He's got a 2.41 goals against average and a save percentage of .916. I do look at this one as the Montreal Canadiens are a team that always can come back in these games. Right. And then we look at the New York Rangers. They've been rolling nice and hot. They got the win over the Chicago Blackhawks in their last one out, 4-1 on Thursday. I think this is one where we look at something that we've been kind of betting against. And it's been Montreal in that first period. There's been a lot of cases where we've taken the other team in the first period. And I've told you guys, look for Montreal to come back. Instead of taking the New York Rangers here in the first period, because they got the Canucks on deck at home on Monday, I'm a little worried. I just think this line looks kind of off here. I would have expected the Rangers to be actually a bigger favorite in this one going into Montreal. I'm going to look at Montreal to struggle to find the back of Jonathan Quick's net in the first period. You can take the Montreal Canadiens under half a goal in the first period. And I know this is a scary bet still, too, because if Jonathan Quick gets hit, we sometimes see these goaltenders get hit with a little bit of puck luck in that first period by the opposition. But I do think in this one, with Montreal's lack of first period really trust for me, I've got to hit them under a half a goal in the first period. I'm going to be holding my breath. It's coming in at minus 102. I wouldn't be shocked if Montreal put up a couple goals in that second period, but I do think ultimately at the end of the day, you look at the goaltending matchup here. This one should go under that 6.5. I've bet it under the 6.5. I've also done an alt line under 5.5. I think this is a 3-2 style game in this one. So we'll see what happens. I do like the first period under 1.5 as well, coming in at minus 102. So we're not giving ourselves much wiggle room if we bet Montreal under a half a goal in the first period and the under 1.5 in the first period. We got to hope that the New York Rangers just put up one goal, and that's all that happens. Definitely could happen. The under 6.5, probably the stronger way to go than taking that first period under 1.5, because we know how strong the Rangers have been offensively. Now, looking at a couple of player props, I'm going to look at those shots on goal. Chris Kreider coming out here for 3+ shots on goal is minus 135. He's been so phenomenally strong. You could also look at him for 4+ shots on goal. That's coming in at plus 185. You look at the Montreal Canadiens, they're allowing 33.1 shots on goal on average per game, and the New York Rangers averaging 30.7. Why I'm taking the shots in this is I really do have faith in Sam Montembeault to have a strong game. So I'm not taking the goal scorers, just looking at the shots on goal for Chris Kreider. And then Panarin, I'm also going to take him 4+ shots on goal. It's coming in at minus 106. So not as much value in taking Panarin here for the 4+. You'd have to bump him up to 5+. I'm just not comfortable going to 5+ with this. If you're looking at anyone for Montreal, with how the Rangers are holding opponents to right around 29.6 shots on goal per game, I would look at who you think can get that goal. You guys know I love to circle Cole Caulfield here, Shane Monahan, and Nick Suzuki. So those would be the players I'd be looking at. But again, this is going to be a hard one for them to score on Jonathan Quick. Could Quick get the shutout? He absolutely could. He's such a fantastic goalie out there. I really do like what we've seen out of Sam Montembeault as well. So the under the best bet. And I tell you, Boussois last night, 1 goal in the first period he allowed to the Ducks. At least we cashed the under 2.5, but we were so close. I wish he never let in that goal, but at least we knew it was over and done with right away in that first period, allowing that one. But I really did think he was going to be able to get that shutout last night. So little bit of heartbreak there, you guys. I'm sure you guys felt the same that tailed that one. Let's move on to the Vancouver Canucks taking on the New Jersey Devils. You guys riding with the under with me. I'm just seeing all of your comments come in. The Minnesota Wild game, we did talk about that one. I'm not in love with the total on that. They trend to the under 2-7-1 to that under. I just can't really get there with that total in it. Toronto 6-13 straight up last 19 games against San Jose. Yeah, the San Jose Sharks have played them really hard. So that's why I'm looking at the San Jose Sharks team total more so over that 2.5, because I think no matter what happens, we do see the Sharks find the back of the net 3 times. Toronto plays down to their opponents, and that's the scary thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You just never know who is going to show up. They can go out and they can beat a strong team like the New Jersey Devils, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then they can just mess a game up versus the Sharks that they should win. Okay, let's look at the next one here. The Buffalo Sabres taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the last time these teams matched up, the Buffalo Sabres did get the win, 3-2. That was back in November. Current odds on this one, if I can find the line, you guys. Looks like the Ravens made a big play out there on the field. Plus 138 for the Sabres. The Penguins at minus 166. Maybe they got a pick. And a total of 6.5. Now, the 6.5 is minus 134. To the over, plus 110 to the under here. Okay, what I'm looking at is, you guys know what happened with Tristan Jarry the last time he was out for the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Washington Capitals. It was an absolute train wreck. He got yanked. He allowed, what was it, 7? It was 3 goals on 7 shots on goal in the first period. They yanked him out. I think he was only in there like 14, almost 15 minutes, and he was absolutely gone. So I'm looking for a strong bounce back. And there's a couple of goalies I'm looking for strong bounce backs in this one, and a couple goalies that I'm just going to fade because I don't like what we've seen out of them. I do think Tristan Jarry is a goalie that can bounce back. So firstly, I'm going to look at his save shots on goal. I'm going to take it to the over 27.5. We look here at the Buffalo Sabres. This team is averaging 31 shots on goal per game, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are allowing those chances to come in, allowing 30.5. I do think Jarry has to bounce back in this game. We cannot see a weak performance out of him again. His matchup versus the Capitals was a team that he has been notoriously strong about, so he is going to be really down on himself after that game. So he's sitting here with a 2.58 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.912. Trust in Tristan Jarry today. That is what I'm doing. You guys can do what you want. I'm trusting in him. This is me kind of like telling myself, trust in Tristan Jarry. If Tristan Jarry can do what I expect him to do in this game, I expect the Pittsburgh Penguins to win it. The problem here is they're way too juicy on the money line. The book's looking at the same sort of thing. Lankaken is confirmed in net for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Buffalo Sabres have been allowing these goals to come in. They're allowing an average of 3.38. Lankaken comes in with a 3.14 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.893. I do expect with the Penguins, with how strong they have been playing offensively, for them to find the back of the net for him tonight. Over 3.5. It's juicy at minus 126 for their team total, but I do like it. 7 of the last 10 games for them at home have gone over that total of 6.5, or 7 of the last 10, not just at home. So we have seen the Penguins be able to put those points on the board. I expect it to come here. And we look at the Sabres and what they've done on the road, and they've been allowing these goals to come in. They have allowed an average of 3.52 goals per game on the road this season. So definitely a nice spot to look at the Pens for the over 3.5. I just don't love the juice at minus 126. I prefer best in this game Tristan Jarry for his save shots on goal. I also think this is an interesting one here for the Pens. They need to get every win that they can. Where are they sitting on the season? They're saying 19-14, 3-1. Pretty solid at home, 10-7. The Buffalo Sabres, just so many injuries still with this team. Happy Saturday, everyone. I love seeing all of you guys jump in. Toronto, I could see the Toronto Maple Leafs scoring 4 and the San Jose Sharks scoring 5. Absolutely. We have seen it happen for sure. You guys, hit that like button. We are here. I appreciate each and every one of you. The Wild game, both teams to score in the first period. I don't hate the Minnesota Wild game for both teams to score in the first period. I think that is a really nice way to look at that one. We know the Columbus Blue Jackets have had like some really nice spurts in those first periods as well. Okay. Did we go over the Vancouver Canucks and the New Jersey Devils? I don't think we went over the Vancouver Canucks. I kind of skipped that game, you guys. We're going to jump back to it. It's at 7 o'clock Eastern as well. This is a Hughes Brothers matchup again, you guys. The Vancouver Canucks rolling in here at minus 122, plus 102 for the New Jersey Devils, total 6.5. Now, minus 110 to the over or under on this one. If you think the Vancouver Canucks can get a big win, which is something they haven't been able to do. They struggle versus the New Jersey Devils. Minus 1.5 at plus 195. You guys know I love that plus money, especially with a team like the Vancouver Canucks. They are absolutely dominating. They're sitting first in the Pacific. I love what we've seen out of them. And now, this is another goalie that I have faith in to bounce back. It is Demko. Demko off one of his worst games of the season, or of his career even, versus the Devils that last time he played them. He allowed so many goals in that one. The Devils ended up winning it 6-5. I hated what I saw out of Demko the last time he faced them. And something about this Devils team, they always play the Vancouver Canucks so hard. I do think they've won 9 of the last 10. I do think this is one where Vancouver can snap that. I do think the Vancouver Canucks have every advantage. Jack Hughes is listed day-to-day, you guys. So wait and see what happens with this. If he's day-to-day and He's not 100%, obviously. I do think it's a prime opportunity for Vancouver to be able to take the win on this one. And I know the Devils are so strong offensively and they have the depth there, and it's not just the Jack Hughes show, but he is one of their number one goal scorers out there. And I look at Vancouver, what this team has been able to do, all of their talent that they have offensively as well. This team's averaging 3.76 goals per game. Their power plays converting at 24%, which is ninth best overall in the league. And yes, the Devils, much stronger, 29.1, sitting third best overall. Both of these teams' kills are about the same. I expect the goals to come in this one and the goals to come fast, even though I do think Demko will have a big day here. You look at the amount of shots that the New Jersey Devils average per game, and it's 31.7. I think both of these teams really step up offensively. This one is 4-3 instead of a 6-5. So I think it comes down. I still look to the over. I'm looking to that first period for it to go over 1.5. That's coming in at -138. I like the goal in the first 5 minutes as well. I think one of these teams gets off to a hot start. That's coming in at +160. Now, with the Hughes brothers, Jack day-to-day, so we're going to stay off him. Luke Hughes has been phenomenal for the New Jersey Devils. I would look at him for his points tonight. And then Quinn Hughes for the Vancouver Canucks. You guys know we've made money on him, an offensive defenseman. We got two offensive defensemen out there, both on either teams, both brothers. So I do expect an impact out of both of them. We'll see what happens in this one. It's going to be a really interesting one. Chip Sharps are on the Vancouver Canucks. Okay. Well, I like them. I think the Vancouver Canucks can get the win. I think this is a bounce back here. They have that loss to the St. Louis Blues as well. And we do see the New Jersey Devils on the back-to-back. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks last night 4-2. Okay, so we did the Buffalo Sabres, Pittsburgh Penguins. We're going to move on to the Nashville Predators taking on the Dallas Stars. Current odds on this one, you guys. The Nashville Predators are +150, -182 here. For the Dallas Stars, total 6.5. Finally, a 6.5. Juice to the over at -120, but it's an over. Oh, man. -102 to the under. I do think this is a high-paced game, but one that could stay under. And it's going to depend on goaltending. Langenkamp expected here for the Preds. And then we have the Dallas Stars expected to start Scott Wedgwood. Now, this is a battle of the Central. We have the Preds sitting fourth and the Stars sitting third. So both of these teams, I really do think, even though they're going to play at a high pace, they really tighten up defensively. The Preds allowed those 6 goals to the Calgary Flames, only scoring 3 in their last one out. They will want to tighten up, not allow the Stars to get off to a hot start like Calgary did. And then we have the Stars coming in. They lost that last game to the Avs in overtime, 5-4. Both of these teams, I don't think, want to see that high-paced game turn into a high-scoring one. I'm looking to the under. The under is coming in again at -102. I'm going to take a chance on this, even though I don't love the goaltending. I also think the Preds +1.5 is the smartest way to go. It's just way too highly juiced at -152. The Predators have been held to 2 or less goals in 8 of the last 10 meetings versus the Dallas Stars. So I do think the Preds to win this game, if they could, it would be a 2-1 win here for them. So I like the under. I like a lowest scoring battle. The Preds know they can't get in a shootout in this one. Yeah, Wedgwood in for Dallas. Dallas should come out angry. I'm with you. The Canucks over FG, first period over Canucks. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Canucks should have a really good first period there. Okay, the St. Louis Blues taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Finally, we're getting to a goalie that I'm not going to trust, and I'm not going to trust to bounce back, and that is Ranta here for the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't like what we've seen out of him as of late. He's been allowing way too many goals to go in, and he's getting such strong support by the defense here are the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I hate playing goalie props to the under because it is a scary situation, but I'm taking him under 24.5 save shots on goal. That's coming in at -110. You look at the Canes on defense, and this defense is holding opponents to 25.7 shots on goal per game. best overall in the league. So I don't think the St. Louis Blues are going to get a lot of opportunities. And I think the opportunities they do get, they will be able to convert. On Ranta here, he's got a 3.56 goals against average and a 0.8555 save percentage. I don't trust him. Now, Binghamton expected in net for the St. Louis Blues. His numbers aren't fantastic. His save percentage is a lot higher, though, at 0.902. Goals against average at 3.14. I like what I've seen out of the Blues as of late. This team, not a high scoring team overall on the season at 2.86, but offensively, this team has stepped up. But I don't think it's going to be enough of a step up here to push this one over the total. But I think it's enough of a step up to take Carolina for the win. You can grab the Blues plus 1.5 on the puck line. That is coming in. Current value on the Blues on that puck line is minus 146. I also like them with a sprinkle on that money line, that coming in at plus 162. I do think they have every opportunity. I think the Canes on the second night of a back-to-back here will get off to a fast start. I think they sink one quick on Binghamton, and I do think the St. Louis Blues sink one quick on Ranta. So I'm looking at that first period over 1.5. I like both teams to score in the first period as well. That's coming in at plus 164. The over 1.5 at minus 138. And then I'm going to stay off the rest of this game. I'm just going to look at the Blues, possibly on the money line with a sprinkle, plus 1.5 at minus 146 on the puck line. The over 1.5 in the first period, and both teams to score in the first period. And Ranta, under 24. It's 24.5. That number is so low. We can get there. I say, and then I'm not betting anything else, but I got 5 bets in that game. So you're leaning Carolina. I don't know if I can get there to the over. We'll see how many goals Ranta lets up. And that's my biggest problem with that. I just don't know what we're going to get out of Ranta in this one. Binghamton isn't great either, but I have more faith in him right now in the defense of the St. Louis Blues to give him the protection. The Canes give Ranta the protection, and he still is letting these goals come in. We look at him the last couple matchups, and he's been allowing goal after goal after goal. I can't trust him. Let's look at the late slate here, you guys, and I will be live on SportsGrid, so make sure you come over and join Scott Wetzel and myself. We have Mark Drumheller coming on tonight at the 8:25 mark, so he'll be on. We also have Brady Cannon coming on later. We're going to be talking NFL with him and Mark, college football. We're going to be talking everything on the slate for tomorrow, for Monday, and then all of the games live tonight. So we'll be live betting these hockey games. So make sure you come over and join me, because lots of opportunities to get in on one of these teams that goes down quick in the first period on the money line, on that puck line, and live props as well, NBA as well. So everything going on. Let's look at the Islanders versus the Vegas Golden Knights. This one at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight. Plus 122 here for the Islanders, minus 146 for the Vegas Golden Knights, total of 6.5. 6.5 minus 138 to the under, plus 112 to the over. I'm looking at the first period to stay under 1.5 here. I really do expect things to tighten up defensively. We look at what Vegas has been doing, and I know there's a couple of key players missing here, but I do expect after that 4-1 beatdown by the Florida Panthers that Vegas tries to play a stronger defensive game. They cannot allow the Islanders to get up and get up fast in this one. So while the goals might come in for the full game, I'm expecting that first period to stay under. I also have faith in Sorokin. Now, Sorokin's got a 3.1 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.921. His save shots on goal tonight is so high at 30.5, but I have to go over that number, you guys. You look at the Islanders defense, and they're allowing him to be absolutely peppered out there. 31st, they're giving up the 31st most shots on goal per game at 35.3, and the Vegas Golden Knights are in the top 10 for getting those shots at 32.3. I expect at least 40 shots out of Vegas in this one on Sorokin. We know he's not going to allow in that many, so over 30.5 save shots for Sorokin in this game. This is the last game on the road for the Islanders. They're sitting 2-1 on this road trip so far. They absolutely want this win. And we look at Vegas. They've been struggling. They've lost their last 2. They have the Avs and the Bruins on deck. So they're going to want to get into right form in this game before heading out on the road. I just don't know if they can do it. Logan Thompson is confirmed here in net for them. They need some help right now, the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going to look at Jack Eichel for his shots on goal because I do believe those shots are coming in. Jack Eichel for 4+ shots on goals coming in at plus 138. He's got 160 shots on goal on the season, so an average of 4.1 shots on goal per game, 16 goals as well in those 39 games he's played. And then looking at the other side of the puck, Bo Horvat here is someone who's really interesting to look at for the New York Islanders to get that anytime goal. He has played Vegas really hard. And the last times he's played Vegas, he was with the Vancouver Canucks. So he hasn't played them as an Islander yet. And I do think he can still find the back of Logan Thompson's net in this one. You can get him for the anytime goal here. I can't remember what the odds are on him. Let's just look at him for the anytime goal. I don't think they were crazy plus money, but still good enough plus money to take a risk on it. Good enough. Good enough is a weird thing to say. Plus, no, it was really good plus money at plus 220 for him for that anytime goal. And I do have, when we break down, where is it? I had his stats versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So let me just let you guys know what he's done. So looking at him when he was playing with Vancouver, he had 10 goals, 4 assists for 14 points versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So the last 5 games versus Vegas, in each and every one of those, he has been able to get a goal. Again, he was with Vancouver. He wasn't with the Islanders, but Bo Horvat has been playing strong with the Islanders this season. He had 1 assist in those 5 as well. So those points have been coming in against Vancouver. I look at these players, even when they change teams, for how they've done against certain opponents, and I still have to back them. So I do think he can get that anytime goal at plus 220. So much value here. If you just want to look at him, 4 shots on goal, 3+ shots on goals coming in at minus 118. So I think that is another nice way to go, but I like the anytime goal a lot better. He's got 108 shots on goal this season in 37 games played. So that's coming in, right around 2.6 or somewhere around there. He has 5 goals in his last 5 games versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So keep your fingers crossed. I want that plus 220 money on that one, you guys. We're going to look at the next one here. The Ottawa Senators, and this is the last game on the board versus the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I want you guys to kind of guess. Where am I going with the Edmonton Oilers when we look at them versus weak goaltending? What is my favorite bet for the Oilers to get off to? If you guys can guess it, I'll be really impressed. Current odds. Let's look at that. Well, I just put that out there. I just got to go back a page here. Oh, we got 4-4, the Florida Panthers versus the Colorado Avalanche. 14 minutes left in that third period, you guys. The Edmonton Oilers are a $2 favorite at minus 200. We got the Sens rolling in at plus 164. Total 6.5 minus 170 to the over. That is gross, plus 138 to the under. My problem here with the Ottawa Senators is they burnt me so bad in their last game. This team is so frustrating to me because I know they have the talent on this team, but they're not able to stop the goals. I almost swore. I apologize, you guys. In their last 4 games, they allowed 4, 6, 5, 6. Like, the goals are just racking up against them. Forsberg in net tonight. Now, his number is coming in at 28.5. I am terrified to take that either way of the over or the under, because we know Edmonton is clicking so strongly, and I hate saying it, but they are playing amazing hockey right now. Skinner confirmed, and he is standing up, and he's playing better hockey as well. So the coaching change definitely has helped him. He's got a 2.83 goals against average, a save percentage, still below 900, but sitting at 895. Forsberg comes in here. 0.883 save percentage, a 3.36 goals against average. I can't trust this team defensively. They're allowing 31 shots on net per game. Now, you look at the Edmonton Oilers and what this team is doing offensively. They're averaging 34.1. Their power play is clicking. It's converting at 25%. They're also doing strong defensively, only allowing 28.5 shots on goal per game. Their kill, 79.8. It is a solid kill. The power play of the Sens, it's only converting at 16.9%. So it's a hard one. It's a very hard one. Goal in the first 5 minutes. Matt, you knew it. That goal in the first 5 minutes is my favorite bet to take when we look at the Edmonton Oilers. They want to get off to that hot start. The first period over as well. Another really solid way to take it. And Doug, I agree with you. Take it up to 7.5. Take it to the over. I do think this is probably a 5-3 win here, like you are saying. The Edmonton Oilers definitely will score on Forsberg. I can't see them not. You can take them over 3.5, but you're going to lay extreme juice at -168. I was hoping for a better number in that. They've won 8 of the last 10 meetings over the Ottawa Senators, and the last 2 meetings have been 6-3 wins for the Edmonton Oilers. So we are seeing the Sens still getting some goals on the board. You could look at the Sens team total over 2.5, but it's way too highly juiced as well, just like Edmonton's team total over 3.5. The goal in the first 5 minutes, you guys know, Matt called it out. I absolutely love it. Plus 142 for the goal in the first 5 minutes. I really do expect Edmonton to come out flying in this one. They've won their last 6 games. They're feeling hot. They're feeling themselves right now. They got that win over the Flyers on Tuesday at home, 5-2. We did get that goal in the first 5 minutes, I believe, of that game. It seems like Tuesday was so long ago, you guys. Edmonton on the puck line in the first period, I absolutely love as well. Laying the half a goal in the first periods, coming in at plus 124. They've won their last 5 first periods as a favorite. So I do think strong trends towards that. The over 1.5 in the first period for Edmonton. This is a really cool bet. I haven't taken Edmonton's team total in the first period as of yet this season to the over, but I'm definitely hitting it in this one. I do expect them to get 2 goals in that first period. That's coming in at plus 194. And I tell you, I will be ripping my hair out on in-game live tonight if this is one of those games where defense is locked down and they're not able to score on the goaltending in the first period. And then we open up in the second and third. We know we have seen it. I just don't see it happening here. I don't trust in Forsberg. I don't trust in the Sens defense. Like I said, the last 4 games, 4, 6, 5, and 6 goals in those games allowed. Edmonton, fast start. Goal in the first period. In the first 5 minutes, Edmonton's team total in the first period over 1.5 at plus 194. You guys know I love chasing that plus money, and that's where I'm always searching for these bets. You also look at Anton Forsberg, his record against the Edmonton Oilers, and it's not pretty. He's sitting 1-2-1 in the 4 games against the Edmonton Oilers. The goals against average, pretty solid number at 2.79. But you look at the last matchup versus Edmonton, that was in February of 2023. So last season, he allowed 6 goals on 37 shots on goal. So could we see the same thing? Absolutely, we could. We could see Edmonton get off to that really hot start, getting those shots on him and landing the puck in the back of his net. And that's absolutely what I expect today. You guys, that is everything. Thanks for joining me here for Puck It with Joe. Let's just quickly check where that line is right now for the Panthers. The Panthers are up again. I tell you, that total is now 11.5 with 13 minutes left, plus 235 to the over. We already have 9 goals. Colorado is not going to give up. We'll definitely see 10 goals, or I'm going to go over 11.5 plus 235. You guys, I'm going to put that bet in right now. I cannot not hit that one because the plus money. Getting greedy in this. I better get off. You guys, again, join me 6 o'clock my time, so 8 p.m. Eastern, live on SportsGrid. Come on over. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks again for joining me here today for Puckett. I will see you guys tomorrow. And like tomorrow, if I have some early bets, watch for that video, you guys, so that you don't miss out on any of them. See you guys. All the best.